Welcome back, guys. This is again Introduction to Security, our lesson number 2. We covered the introduction about information security, and now we are continuing with the rest of the material. Uh, as we were discussing about some of the problems with the worms and identity thefts and etc., now we'll be talking about some of the challenges which are there in securing the information. Your top priority in your organization must be that you must secure your information, whether they are the documents, whether they are the financial details, each and everything which you can think that can be compromised must be taken care of. Now, again, why we cannot stop it? The reason is that every other day there is something new happening out there. New weaknesses are found in the operating systems, and constantly people are trying to exploit the overall operating system weaknesses. Now, if we are actually serious about protecting our own network, we must adopt the best practices which are out there in order to protect us and our organization. Now, in our book that we are covering, now they are talking about POS problems, or the point of sale problems, where they are mostly targeted in most of the retail stores. As per the studies, around about 1.2 billion records of the consumer and payment card details were stolen in a single year. This is on average to 2.8 million records stolen on each day, or 32 records every second. So what are POS? POS are the point of sale devices. If you're buying anything from the store and you go for the payments, they are entering they are actually scanning the barcode on the items, which has a price tag associated to it, and once they'll sum up everything, you'll use your debit card or the credit card for the payments. Now, since those are the devices which are processing the credit cards and debit cards, so they have some information about the debit and credit cards, plus the um, loyalty program and all those details, your personal mobile number, your name, your address, and all those relevant details are there. So they are exploiting it to take the maximum benefit out of it, use the details of the credit cards, and then use them anywhere else they want to use it. Now, on hospitals, they are targeting it because they want to get the insurance details. Maybe they'll be using the credit card and insurance details of the people, and they'll be selling it out in the market, or they'll be using the credit cards. Nowadays, you might have seen that even the car security systems has been compromised, where using certain techniques you can lock and unlock the cars whenever you want to do it by using certain techniques. Now, airplane systems has been compromised as well, and FBI released a warning for the aviation industry that they must enhance their security mechanisms in order to protect themselves from any kind of potential threats which are out there. Now, what are the major difficulties that we are facing when we want to protect ourselves from these kind of attacks? The reason why we are a victim of these kind of hackers, or the people who are constantly looking for weaknesses in your organization or in the industry, they are exploiting the weaknesses of the operating system, or if you are not protecting your devices in the way that they must be protected. Now, the biggest problem is, since after the widespread of the internet, each and everything is very well connected to each other. When we used to have dial-up connections, devices were not that much connected to each other, and the organizations were connecting to the internet maybe by the end of the day or midday, and they used to update the records, and they used to update the inventory and databases in batch processing. It means that they'll collect all the records, and by the night or midday they'll update the data on the main servers in order to keep the inventories updated. But since now everything is live connected to the internet, they have access to the main databases, so that the central office can check that how many items do you have in the warehouse, or how many items are sold, and what's the sales of that particular branch in a day. So because of those things, all these devices are interconnected, and once they are connected, there are high chances that if one machine is compromised, or if the data breach happens in one branch, they can penetrate inside the network and can affect the overall infrastructure. Now, in order to target those attacks, they are using automated bots, or different malicious code, which is executed very fast on the DOS or command prompt, and it is easily replicated on the network. Now, there are some weaknesses of the operating systems as well. For example, if you have computers connected in the student labs, and we are imaging the computers, it means that we are creating a backup of one computer and deploying the image on all computers. All computers would have the same username and password for the administrator. So if the computers are connected to the same network and all have the same username and password, all these computers can see each other and can transfer the files using the admin accounts. So that's how these kind of viruses are usually being copied from one computer to another, and then it affects the entire infrastructure. Now there are lots of techniques coming in on daily basis. A new pattern of a virus, if it's not updated by the antivirus solution or your firewall, your antivirus solution will not be able to catch those kind of things. Now there are lots of softwares available out there, with the help of which most of these hackers are using Linux to penetrate in the network. Softwares like Kali Linux, that's a Linux operating system that is widely used for any kind of penetration. Actually, it was introduced for academic and testing purposes, but people are using it for all sort of negative activities which are there. They can penetrate through the networks, they can crack the Wi-Fi networks, and different options are available on that. You don't need to install any additional things on it. They are pre-installed. All you need to do is just to make the basic modifications and different commands in order to penetrate in the networks. Now, sometimes there are delays from the operating system companies, like if there is a security breach which took place in an operating system, it's the responsibility of the operating system which is installed on your machine, that company, whether it's Windows, Linux, servers, or any other operating system, they must release the patch as soon as possible. And being the end user, it's our responsibility to update our machines so that we are protected against those kind of viruses and loopholes in the operating systems. Thus, we must keep an eye on the antivirus as well. If it's constantly getting updates from the main servers, make sure that your antivirus as well as the operating system is always updated, and it has all the latest patches applied on the operating system. Now, most of these hackers who are trying to get access to your machine, they are using hundreds and thousands of computers under their control, and then they are trying to attack a single server or a network. So if they are attacking it from all the directions, it becomes a little bit difficult to actually check that from where they are coming and what they are trying to do on the network. Nowadays, since most of the companies are using the VPNs, or these hackers are using VPNs, it becomes a little bit difficult to trace that where they are coming actually, but it is not difficult to trace it. Lots of new techniques are being used for distributed attacks. If you deny the attack from one part, they'll come from another direction and they'll try to attack the same network again. So in order to safeguard your things, the easiest solution or the first action what people take is isolate that machine from the network. But that does not end the attack process. They have penetrated inside the organization. You must know that what's the pattern, from where they are coming, how many different directions, through which network paths they are coming. So you'll have to monitor all that and stop it in order to protect your own infrastructure. Now, another problem with the users when these kind of attacks are happening or taking place on regular basis is that operating system always gives you certain notifications on your screen saying that this is a malicious software, or it might affect the overall performance of your operating system. Are you sure you want to install that on the computer? And most of us, without even reading the notification, we say yes, and that code is executed. Now, if there was a worm, a spyware, or any kind of a virus which attacked your network, or it is there in your local infrastructure, they'll attach themselves with the Excel sheets, Word documents, PDF, PowerPoint files, and once you open the document, it would be executed with that, and then it would start damaging all your documents, and it would start replication on the network. So make sure that whenever you are trying to open a document, or you are executing a file or an exe file, make sure what it's saying, and make sure that you are downloading it from the right websites where they should be. Most of the people are into downloading the pirated version of the operating systems. I don't see a point in it. When being a student, we can get huge discounts on the Windows operating systems. There is no point going for the pirated version of Windows. 100% illegal. If they'll catch you, you'll be penalized for that. And even locally, it's not allowed to use the pirated version of Windows or Microsoft Office. Always try to get the updated versions from Microsoft, from their websites, purchase it on discounted rates from Microsoft. The beauty in that is that whenever there is a problem, you can contact Microsoft and ask them for a help. Second thing is, we as the organizations, we are registered with Microsoft and we have licenses with them. We have a support contract where if anything is going on or we are feeling a suspicious activity, we can contact them, and they are very open in helping us in different problems. If you have purchased a copy of Windows, and if you have formatted the computer, it's an easy procedure. You can contact them and they can help you in shifting the license from one computer to another. Okay, so the next topic which is coming is, what is information security? In information security, by the meaning or by the word in English, what is information security? Security is to be safe from danger, or to be free from danger, or the protection of assets or property from any kind of threats or any kind of problems that you might face in the future. Now, in order to save yourself, you must know all the latest techniques and the ways in order to protect your own organization. Um, Most of the organizations, when they are being targeted, sometimes that kind of attack is direct, and sometimes it's indirect. So there are two kind of attacks which would be there. It could be direct or indirect. Direct is if someone is trying to gain access to the organization or the network sitting somewhere outside the country or geographical territory and would try to gain access to the computer itself or the entire network. Now, the indirect attack is if the hacker would get access to the computers in your organization, they'll install certain things on the computer and they'll leave. So, from next time, they'll come to this computer, and from this computer, they'll harm the network inside the organization. So, actually, it would look like that someone within an organization is doing something, but actually, that's not the person who is in the organization and doing all those things. It's a person who's coming from outside and doing it. So, you must monitor all the traffic which is coming in and going out in order to protect the information which is there on the computers. Now, take an example of a house. How do you protect a house? We protect a house by installing locks. By additional security, we can install the surveillance cameras or the alarm system and all those things. Same is the thing when we are talking about the computers and the security of the computers. It should not be compromised at any level. If you have any new techniques or gadgets available out there, make sure that you are using them. If you are using any old techniques, make sure that you are updating all those techniques just to make sure that you and your organization is 100% protected. Now, once we have defined the information security, now we are moving towards the overall understanding and what are the different aspects of a security. Now, the security is divided into certain subsections through which we can try to understand it further, that how can we enhance the overall security. Information security is not only about protecting your assets but safeguarding it as well. It means that we have already lots of computers and servers within our organization. We have installed an antivirus and a firewall. We'll keep on updating the security procedures to safeguard it on regular basis. So it's a process which takes place, and it's over the passage of time that you'll keep on improving the things, and you'll make sure that your business is not affected by it. It's a process with the help of which we requires upgrade and constant monitoring, and we cannot stop the thefts 100%, but we can at least try to minimize the risk when we are in the digital world. It's not a win or lose that you'll defeat the hackers or any kind of techniques what's happening. It's about maintaining a balance or an equilibrium between taking the right measures in order to tackle the situation which takes place. Now, since it's clear that we'll have to have a balance between them, now there are different categories of information protection. Now they are divided into three major categories. One is confidentiality, second thing is integrity, and the third thing is availability, as mentioned in your book. Now, confidentiality is that if you are using your credit card or you are using your debit card somewhere on the internet, it should be secure. It should be secured means that they are using secure SSL tunnels, making sure that whatever transaction is taking place on their website is 100% secure. Second way is that a password comes on your mobile phone, or you'll have to enter the PIN code if you are purchasing it in person on any place, so that if someone even gains access to the details of your credit card, it should not be able to use it unless they'll enter the password. So that's the confidentiality of the information which is being passed on using POS, point of sale devices, or if you are using it on the websites. Now, second thing is integrity. Integrity means that the information is correct, it's not modified. As we discussed earlier, that if someone gain access to the banking systems, and if they'll add 10 at 10,000, it would be 100,000. It makes a huge difference. Or if in sales in 1000, if he'll shift the dot after 10, it would be 10 reals. So you'll have to make sure that the information which is there is right, no one has modified it, and it comes in the category of integrity of the information, that it has not been modified. Availability means, which is the third point, that the information should be available when you need it or when you want it. Availability of the information is very important nowadays when we are buying and selling most of the items online. So the third point is availability of information. It should be available whenever you want it, and whenever the customers are asking for it. The data which is available in availability should be only to the users who are authorized. Now, you don't want to disclose all that information to the staff within a company, that what kind of credit cards are being used by your customers and all those things. So it should be highly secure and placed in a place where no one can access it. Now, if, for example, the information is not available about the items in your storehouse when you need to purchase, or if you're selling some items online, the right quantities are not appearing on the databases, it creates a lot of headache for the companies which are selling their items online, because they have charged the customers for the items, and then it looks really bad if you're telling them that sorry, the items are out of stock, we cannot process your orders, and all those things. Now, another protection mechanism which is there as far as the information protection is concerned, again, it's divided into three parts. One is authentication, second thing is authorization, and the third thing is accounting. So authentication means verifying the identity. Like as I told you, that it must have a username or a password. It should have a PIN code that you must enter on the computer or on the device before you make any purchases. After this, we have authorization. Authorization means once authenticated, the user must use the details of the credit card for the purpose only within the scope. If you enter the PIN number, the purchase must take place only at that point. If you are buying anything from Noon or from Amazon.com or eBay, that credit card details or the information which was there, it should be used only to be purchased at single time. It's not like they have the access to your credit card so anyone can use it and can make multiple purchases online. Third thing which is there is accounting. Accounting means that there should be all logs, financial details, and technical details about the purchase which took place, who did it, from which IP address, when it took place, your logs, your computer details. Each and everything is usually with the financial institutions when you are buying these things online. So we have covered the three aspects: authentication, authorization, and accounting. Now we are talking about information security and how it could be achieved. There are three factors when you are trying to achieve an information security. There are three main aspects, which are products, people, and policies. When we are talking about products, it means that all the devices which are connected to your organization are updated with the latest patches and security updates. Second thing, people, they must be aware of all the latest trends and the security policy of the organization. You must have small seminars or sessions with the public, a security awareness campaign where you must tell them about how to secure your passwords, how to have difficult passwords, and how often you must change the passwords. Policies and procedures are, you must tell them clearly that if anything is happening or you're feeling that something is wrong on your computer, what should be the standard operating procedure, to whom shall you inform, how can you protect yourself, and what are the policies in your organization. Further, they must be informed that if their computer or something happens because of their negligence, what are the consequences of it. If you'll not inform the users that what are the consequences of these kind of problems, they'll not take it seriously. So it should be very well communicated to the employees that these are the policies that we are following, and you must all follow the best usage practices in order to protect yourself and your organization. That's it for today. We'll continue rest of the lecture in next lesson, inshallah.